So hi guys, welcome to Julia's Palette Studio, Paint Your Heart Out. I just wanted to share one of the, actually it's 3 paintings that I'm working on. I had originally done a video in the process of painting them, and after I was done filming, I realized that my microphone didn't work and I had no audio at all. So, sadly, I didn't want to scrap the whole thing. So I decided, okay, rather than scrap it, I'm just going to do a voiceover. So I did a voiceover. There's a little bit in the very beginning, which you'll see me kind of talking over myself talking. So forget that. I mean, you'll see it. You'll know that there's something off with that part of it. But the rest of the video, I just wanted to share. This is something, this idea, this layering. I'm into layering, all kinds of ways of layering, and these acrylic paintings are a part of that. Not all of it, but a part of this layering journey that I'm on. And so I just wanted to share it. It's not the best that I have ever put out, and I apologize for that, but it does give you a good idea of what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, and the direction I'm going. So I just wanted to share, and I thank you for watching it. I do love them. I'm excited to finish them up. And so, yeah, I wanted to share because I'm excited about the process, and I thought it might be worthy to share with you guys. So here you go. So I am going to be walking you through this, and as I move along, I'm just going to be taking you through to what I've been up to, and I wanted to show you. I know that I shared with you what I had done previously with the wood cradled boards and the paintings that I've been working on. So this is just me just wanting to show you what I'm doing, and where I've gone from there. So I have been adding some, as I said in the other video, I was adding some script for texture in the shaded areas, and I used the I used permanent archival ink, stamping ink, and then I used the wet tissue for the collage paper itself. And I knew I wanted texture, and I did take some matte fluid medium that I got. I had the matte gel that I use for collage, but I didn't want to use the gel because the paper itself is so thin, and it's almost just like a thin skin. So I felt that the matte fluid medium would work, and I really love it because, like I said, that tissue is so thin, and you can see how translucent it is. I mean, I'm not going to say it's transparent, but pretty much, almost. So I am happy that I used that matte fluid medium instead of the gel, especially since I had to reposition them a couple times, the pieces, and it might have been a little bit more difficult had I used the gel. I'm going to proceed by adding translucent, transparent layers with alcohol inks and satin glazing medium. My thought process is that I want to build layers of color, kind of as you do in watercolor, where you get the transparent layers that come through and like layers of stained glass on top of each other. I have this issue with these gold. I put masking fluid on this before I painted it dark blue because I wanted that pattern in the background and I wanted the metallic gold of the gesso to come through, but the masking fluid that I used the Pabeo drawing gum, and it didn't work. It did not work as well as I had hoped. I had seen I saw a video on YouTube where somebody did it using acrylics, but they didn't use the Pabeo. They used another product, and so I'm probably going to have to collage, but this is what I used. I used the Pabeo drawing gum, and I love it for watercolor. It's awesome for watercolor. I absolutely love it. And I thought, well, okay, if it works on paper, I might try it with this acrylic, but it didn't work out. So I am going to be probably collaging those areas over. I am going to be taking my acrylic inks. I'm going to start with the acrylic ink and then perhaps move to transparent acrylic. But for now, I'm going to stick with the ink so I keep that translucent look. The tissue collage was also used to make the collage papers that you see the color on those flowers already. Those were made with the tissue collage. And then the leaf down there, that was done on regular tissue paper using watercolor to tint the tissue. I had crumpled it up and mixed up a palette full of like different colors and watercolor, and then laid the tissue on top, let it dry, and then after it was dry, then I stamped it. I stamped a couple pieces of it, and that's what I put on that leaf. But the rest of it so far is just using that wet tissue with the colored areas. I'm pointing right there to those colored areas that I used. I didn't use watercolor for that. I used acrylic inks. I had taken my mud tray. I love my mud tray. I took that and I laid some water down, just a tiny bit, sprayed some water, added some acrylic inks, added a little more water, and then just kind of tilted it around a little bit till the colors mixed up, and then took that wet tissue, laid it on there, and then let it set up for a little bit, and then took a hair dryer to it so I could dry it. So I apologize immensely for this strange look here. Here I'm describing how I wanted the layers of the transparency to come through using the acrylic inks and the satin glazing liquid. That is something that I really like to use because it does make everything more translucent, and it allows those layers to come through. And I know I had to turn a light on my palette, but I think at this point I had to go get my paints, but so yeah, now I've got my acrylic inks and my palette, and then the golden acrylic glazing liquid satin. Now, I don't like using gloss at all. A lot of the glazing liquids come with the gloss. I do not like that at all. It's way too shiny, and I don't like that. And then I've got some of those Inktense pencils that I'm going to use. Don't know if I'll use them in the beginning at this point, but I am going to be adding some drawing to these, some drawing elements. And so I thought it might be fun to use those Inktense pencils. They're really high in pigment, so I have to really be careful because they're pretty powerful. But I am going to be adding some drawing elements to it. I have my iPad where my, oh gosh, what that app is called, Procreate, where I like to have my reference photos and my drawings, but for some reason it wasn't working. I couldn't get it to work. I know I'm fussing around with it right now, trying to get my reference photo where I want it, because I wanted to show you a different photo, but for some reason my iPad was not cooperating, so I had to abandon that, and I'm just going to wing it right now as far as color. I have an idea of the color that needs to go down first, so I'm going to start with the acrylic ink, Holbein acrylic ink. I love it. Holbein makes the best acrylic ink if you ask me. The color that I'm going to use for the white is the primary white. It's more of a translucent white. They do have an opaque white, but for the glazing, I am going to use just the regular primary white, because I do want to have it, more translucent, not opaque. I want my colors to shine through. I want to be able to lighten the color, but have it be still more translucent. So I'm using the primary. The acrylic ink is like an Inktense pencil. It's really intense, beautiful pigment. So, I mean, a little bit goes a long way, believe it or not. Some of them, they have the little balls inside the bottles, so you do have to shake them up real well. But they almost have like a watery skim milk texture to them. The viscosity is more like a skim milk. It's not water, but it's not regular milk. It's more like skim milk viscosity. So I want to get I'm going to work on the center of one of those lilies, and I want it to be just a real soft, cooler yellow, not super warm, but that is definitely too bright, too intense. And like I said, I didn't pour much paint down, and you can see how pigmented these inks are. They are wonderful. And sometimes I use them like watercolor. Absolutely. The only difference is with the watercolor, you can lift it off if it's not a staining color. But with the acrylic, once it's dry, it is dry, and you cannot take it off. It's permanent. So it's a good thing if that's what you're looking for. So I am applying this mixture, and I do have my glazing liquid in there that I mixed in, because like I said, I want it translucent. I want to be able to see the layers as I put them on top of each other. So I'm just adding more of that yellow. I really, I can't tell you enough how much I love that wet tissue for making the collage papers. It's so beautiful. I have used regular tissue forever, it seems, and I needed some more of it, needed some more tissue, and I decided, well, I'm going to just get some. I'm going to buy some because I never buy the tissue. It's always tissue that I get, you know, gifts, packaging, or like when I buy gift wrap and things like that. But this time I needed to buy some, and I decided to buy some of this wet strength, and I love it. I mean, I've bought tissue before for wrapping gifts, and then I would just use that for my collaging, but so yeah, I'm just adding more of the yellow, the pale yellow in areas where I know that's where I want it. And I know I'm going to be adding some green to those areas in certain parts because I know that lily has some of the green in the center as well. But right now I'm just, and that's way too bright right there. I just took straight yellow right there. That's just way too garish. Way too garish. So I'm going to tone that down. Yeah, I took some of that white, just laid it down on top of it because that was just too garish. And that leaf is still too bright. It's not the right color. It's going to be changed again, but I did need to bring up more of the yellow in there, so that's where I went with that. And I know in the center of this flower there is more yellow in there, so that's what I'm setting out to do. And you can see in the panel on the left, you can still see the script coming through. Even though I put a layer of paint down, because I had that glazing liquid and the inks, that script texture is still coming through, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. It is absolutely exactly what I'm looking for. And yeah, so I have absolutely no idea why I'm not doing anything right now. I have no idea. Oh, I know what I did. No, I don't know what I did, but that's okay. Yeah, so I'm just working with that yellow again. And I know too, the background on that one, I know I'm gonna have to fix the background on all of these. It's just, now that right now I'm going in and I'm working on that one, that main stamen in the lily. That is a different color and different shape than, I don't know what those are called. Those little fuzzy, I don't know what those are called. But that piece I'm working on right there is a totally different color from the rest of them and a different texture and shape. So I was trying to just put that down first and get that. I love using flats, especially when I'm working with acrylic. I don't use them as much in watercolor. I do use them in watercolor when I am working on, linear things or geometric things. But when I'm doing flowers and leaves and in watercolor, I usually use round brushes. But for some reason, when I work with acrylic, I'm really drawn to the flats. And I don't know why. I know I have some filberts that I use when I do straight acrylic paintings. And I have filberts that I use when I do oil and gouache. But when I do mixed media and use acrylic, it's pretty much always the flat brushes. And like I said, I don't know why, I just really like them. And so yeah, you can still see that beautiful script. Even though I'm putting that color down, you're still seeing the script. And that's my whole intent. That is the whole idea. That's the plan. And that area right there that I just pointed out at the top, that is a part of the background right there that I forgot, or I overlooked when I was, after I had done the drawing and I was laying in that dark background, I had overlooked that one spot. And so right now I'm going through my Inktense pencils to see if there's one that I can use just to block it in a little bit so I know. Just trying to find one that's a little bit more similar to the color in the background. Those Inktense, I used to have she passed away, but I had a really dear friend, a painter, Kay. She was doing whole paintings using those Inktense pencils. Another friend, Janice, was using those for paintings as well. I've never done an entire painting with those. Nor have I ever done an entire painting with watercolor pencils. I have only really used watercolor pencil like in mixed media or like in certain areas, like if I'm doing hair. But I've never used them standalone to do a painting. I know when I first got them, I tried to do it, or I attempted, but for some reason I didn't care for it. It wasn't my cup of tea. But I do like to use them in other ways, other forms. And I'm just adding some white to that because I do believe that should be white and not a darker color. So just by adding a little bit of that primary white, if I have to correct it later, I will. But I'm just kind of putting that white in right now, just as a block it in so that I know the direction I need to go right there. Just kind of like a little reminder, because I'm not making a bold statement with it. I'm being timid. And I'm adding some white to that area too, because it is a lot lighter. That is not going to be the final stage. I'm just laying in that lighter value. Yeah. So I know I'm going to be mixing up some of that dark blue. Definitely going to be mixing some of that up. And I just walked over to the other side of the studio. I needed to get some other materials. Okay, so that's that. And I do want to thank you for watching. So like I said, I really am liking what I'm doing, and I hope to finish them soon. So I am working on a couple other things right now. I don't have those in front of me. I've kind of got my studio situation where a lot of the things in here are my watercolor and gouache. And then I've kind of moved my acrylics and oils and pastels to another room. Yeah, I have a smaller space now, and so I am smaller studio. So I'm incorporating different rooms where I live. I'm incorporating different rooms to make it all work, and it's awesome. It's working out. I'm just not in all one big space. I have two happy places instead of one happy place in my house. So it works for me. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. And on to the next creative journey and creative adventure, right? So what are you doing today to paint your heart out, huh? I hope you're doing something. So happy painting, you guys, and thanks. I'll see you guys soon. Love ya. Take care. So guys, if you happen to like the video and thought it was interesting, you got something out of it, or you just liked it, please make sure that you guys hit like and subscribe. And you know what? Even share it. Thanks, guys, and I will see you soon next time at Julia's Paint Your Heart Out Fine Art Studio. Talk soon. See ya.